GCSE English Literature Paper 2 is coming on Tuesday 20th of May 2025, and in this video I'm going to walk you through how to tackle the whole paper. Whether you're just trying to pass or reach the top level marks, I'm going to show you how to stay calm, structure your answers and make sure every mark counts. Let's get into it. Paper 2 is 2 hours and 15 minutes long and it's got 3 sections. The first is on a modern text like an Inspector Calls or Lord of the Flies, the second is on your poetry anthology, and the third is on unseen poetry. I'd suggest spending about 45 minutes on each of these sections. Yes, it's a long one, but if you've got a plan and you pace yourself, it's totally manageable. Here's how to do it. Section A is on the modern text. Now you've got a choice of 2 questions here and you just answer one of them. There's no extract, just a full essay question. Step 1 for this section is to plan out your answer. Now most people are going to do Inspector Calls for this question, and here's how I'd suggest planning out the questions when they come up. If it's a question on a character, what you want to talk about is what they're like at the start of their play, what they're like when the inspector questions them, and what they're like at the end of the play. If it's on a theme, what you want to try and do is split up the characters. So talk about how one of the older Burlings relates to the theme, one of the younger Burlings relates to the theme, and how Gerald relates to the theme, because he's usually somewhere in the middle. Step 2, when you're writing up your essay, you want a nice clear thesis statement to start off with. So that's a first sentence where you explain your plan nice and clearly. And then each point that you write up, you want to explain what the writer makes us think or feel, how they use character, setting or structure to achieve this with quotations where it's appropriate, and context, how the text would have been seen at the time. For top level marks here, when you're using context, don't just throw it in as a separate paragraph. Make sure you're tying it to your analysis. So say something like, Priestley presents Mr. Burling as arrogant, which would frustrate a post-war audience who had just lived through the consequences of such attitudes. Section B is on the poetry anthology, so that'll be on the cluster of poems you've studied, either on love and relationships or power and conflict. Now, you'll be given one poem from the anthology printed on your question paper and a list of the other poems. What you've got to do is compare the printed poem to one other poem from your cluster. Step 1, read the question that goes with the poem and then annotate the poem. Circle and underline any little quotations or any details that are going to help you answer that question. Step 2, plan out 2 big ideas on the printed poem. So we want 2 big bullet points that are in some way related to the question. Now these are usually how something changes in the poem. So what the poet feels at the start compared to how they are feeling at the end. Step 3, pick another poem from the anthology that you're going to compare it to, and again come up with 2 bullet points. Now these are going to be related to the bullet points you came up with for the first poem. When you come to structure the actual essay, you want to zigzag between the points. It's going to strengthen your comparison and you're going to get more marks. Step 4, write your actual essay. Now each of your 4 bullet points wants to take just under 10 minutes to complete, and you want to make sure that you are hitting the same stuff as you did in the Inspector Calls question. Explain what the writer is trying to get you to think or feel, use methods and quotations to prove your point, and add some context if you can. Section C is on unseen poetry. You get 2 questions here. The first one where you analyse the first printed poem, and the second question where you compare the 2 of them. Now the absolute key here is to spend about 25 to 30 minutes on question 1 and only about 15 minutes on question 2. That's because question 1 is worth 24 marks, whereas question 2 is only worth 8. For question 1, read the question first. It's going to be about a theme in the poem. Then go and read and annotate the poem for about 5 to 10 minutes. Now don't panic here. You don't have to have understood the whole poem. All you need to be able to do is come up with 2 big ideas that you can write in relation to the question. When you come to write up your bullet points in your actual answer, all you need to do is make sure that you're explaining what the writer makes you think or feel, and again explain the methods they use with quotations to prove your point. For question 2, all you need to do is annotate the second poem for about 5 minutes, and all you're doing here is looking for similarities and differences between the poem. Then, in about 10 minutes, write up as many of those similarities and differences as you can. Now, this is a key tip for this paper. It's a really long paper and timing is going to be key. Even if you just write 1 sentence for this last comparison between 2 unseen poems, it might give you a couple of marks and push you over a grain boundary. So that's how to handle the longest GCSE paper you're going to do. Stay calm, stick to the plan, and you'll be absolutely fine. Good luck.